Some starry night when his kisses will make you tingle, he'll hold you tight and you'll curse yourself for being single. And all at once it seems so nice. The folks are throwing shoes and rice. You hurry to a spot that's just a dot on the map. Yeah, then you wonder how it all came about. It's too late now, there's no getting out. You fell in love, and love is a tender trap.
Good evening and welcome to the regular school board meeting of Carpinteria Unified School District on October 10th, 2023. May I please get a roll call?
Eric. Aye. Aaron. Here. Sally.
Aye.
Jamie.
Here.
Here?
And I am here.
Thank you. Can everybody please stand for the flag salute? Ready, begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Approval of, and we're going to do the approval of the minutes from our board meeting of September 23rd. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions from the board? Okay, public comment. If anybody would like to comment on the minutes from our board meeting from September 26th, please feel free to line up behind the podium here. Thank you.
Is it on?
Yes, I can see the light from here.
Tell me when I may begin.
Now.
Thank you. So regarding the new approach to public comment introduced at the last board session, may the minutes reflect that there was no mention of what changed, what authority was referenced, or what the rationale for the change was. The change was made and introduced without any explanation or previous notification. May the minutes of the last board meeting also include more details in regard to the deceptive data contained in the 23-24 LCAP, which stated the CUSD invested over $84,000 on a robotics elective course at the middle school, which does not exist. We're wondering, union leadership, myself representing that team, is wondering if the board was just a little interested in figuring out where that $84,000 cost came from, or why Superintendent Rigby and the CMS principal told the county and state and the community that such a class existed when it doesn't. At minute 31, Board President Diamond asked the very person responsible for this deception and the very person who should be held accountable for it if what the union shared was accurate. Is anyone surprised that Ms. Rigby stated no, it was not? Now, I may be a simple man, but where I come from, that's referred to as the fox guarding the chicken coop. Is that really the extent of your oversight, allowing this fox to guard our chicken coop? The union knows you don't want to hear this. We know that you will close your eyes and all too often put your fingers in your ears and take further offense at the messenger and work even to attack the messenger personally and publicly. You don't trust union leadership. You don't want to hear from union leadership. But that does not change the facts around this issue. But look, don't listen to us. Listen to what the superintendent and Ms. O'Shea, the principal at the middle school, stated in the LCAP. And we'll help you do that by distributing the very page that contains the critical information we're talking about, printed directly from the LCAP, which the board endorsed on September 12th without a single question or a single discussion. This is the page right here. I could bring it up to you, or I could hand it to Ms. Thomas if you like. It contains both the CMS robotics elective claim and the expenditure noted at $84,000+ that Ms. Rigby and Principal O'Shea claimed to the community, the county, and the state. And union leadership continues to wonder what you are going to do about that. Thank you.
Any further comments on approval of the minutes from our last board meeting? Okay. May I get a motion to approve?
I'll move.
To approve the minute. Oh, sorry. I move to approve the minutes of the September 26th meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we are moving on to approval of the agenda and consent agenda. Does the board have any questions? Okay, seeing none, we will move to public comment on approval of the agenda and consent agenda. If you have public comment, please come and stand up, line up at the podium. Thank you.
Ms. Thomas, if you'll please let me know when. Pardon me?
No.
Thank you. So item 3, supplemental staffing client services agreement between Carpenter Unified School District and Maxim Healthcare. It should be noted that the district, in its haste to hire employees who do not have access to the rights afforded in the district's collective bargaining agreements, hire employees without providing them any job security, and hire employees, often members of our own community, who will and not hire employees, often members of our own community, who will not be provided access to the district's healthcare options. CUSD pursues a contract with Maxim Healthcare to contract out routine positions that the CUSD cannot fill as a result of the employment conditions it fosters. For example, the CUSD struggles to find an adequate number of instructional aides and after-school support to provide student coverage across the district. Often this is due to the employment conditions just listed. Yet, as per this contract with Maxim, instructional aides would make $37 an hour as long as they don't have the same contractual rights as permanent district employees. And that is considerably more than most district employees make in that role. Item 9 and 10, swimming lessons in the fall for Aliso, Catalino, and CFS students. Union leadership strongly supports the district's decision to provide swim lessons to district students. Not only is this an obvious safety issue, it is also an opportunity for the kids' personal growth, mental health, and physical well-being, so we thank you for that. Item 11, approval of a Heart of an Angel Fit Camp for after-school program. Once again, union leadership asked that the board support this consent item, which not only brings students in the ASP opportunities to engage physically with each other and their environment, but it provides the after-school program staff the opportunity to provide support in a structured and safe environment. A true win-win for employees, students, and district families. And item 13, the purchase of the Tommy lift gate replacement from Body Shop Plus. The cost of the lift gate is $7,000+, and it's going to be attached apparently to the back of a fairly old pickup. We are hoping that you are considering in the process of that this lift will likely outlive the pickup it's being attached to, and that it is transferable to another automobile. We also appreciate that the workload being saved and the injuries being saved will benefit the maintenance department. Item 14 of 2023 EPA expenditure plan. Union leadership reminds the board and district administration that the EPA monies, meaning the Education Protection Account monies, may be spent on any educational purpose except for administrator salaries and benefits or other administrative costs. Given the significant increase of administrative staff under Superintendent Rigby, as well as the consistency that administrators have received salary increases before any other district employee, this year being no different, union leadership is compelled to remind the school board to keep an eye open for that topic. Thank you.
Any further public comment on the approval of the agenda and consent agenda? Okay. Seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
I'll second.
And roll call?
Eric?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Sally?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
And I'm aye.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, here we go with the fun stuff. We have Canalino and Family School with Principal Pursoon, school counselors Shanna Hargett and Patricia Humbles. Did I see her? Oh, not here tonight. Okay. And members of the Student Council are going to present on the Robotics Club and Student Council at Canalino and Carp Family School.
So good evening. We're really thrilled to be here. We also have Crystal Marshall, who is our gate coordinator in the school district. So we'll do that second. That's the second part. And the first part is our student council. So all of our student council people can come up. So we had 18 students run for vice president and president this year. So and then we have a student council of 20 students and a vice president and a president. And so I'm going to have Shanna Hargett, who runs the student council, introduce her students.
Good evening, everybody. I'm actually going to have the students introduce themselves. So first up is our vice president.
Hi, my name is Reese Isaac, and I'm vice president. Hi, my name is Aileen Wheatley, and I'm president. Hi, my name is Zoe Balch, and I'm class representative. Hi, my name is Nico Ornelas, and I'm class representative. Hi, my name is Kaya Smith, and I'm class representative. Hi, my name is Kimberly Varela, and I'm class representative.
Hi, my name is Elias Fiore Palm, and I am class representative.
Hi, I'm Nicola Massa Giovanni, and I'm a class representative.
Hi, I'm Franklin Stewart, and I am also a class representative.
Hi, I'm Hallie Mayer. I'm also a class representative.
Okay, so the first picture I have here, obviously our shirts are different. That was from last year. This year, actually, our president and vice president chose this color. So that's one of the things they get to do is choose what shirt they want. And we wear them on Fridays for our meetings. So what is Student Council? It's an opportunity, a leadership opportunity for 4th and 5th graders. Meetings are bi-weekly. And we fundraise for school and community needs. So, how are students elected? We had the election a couple weeks ago. As Ms. Pursoon said, we had 7 candidates run for vice president and 11 who ran for president. They were to write a speech and create a poster, which you can see at the bottom of those pictures. They got really creative with those posters. They each did a speech, and then I created a Google form as a ballot, as you can see in the center, and they voted for for what candidate they wanted after the speeches were done. It was on a Friday, and then I went and visited their classes on a Monday, and I announced the winners. So that was very exciting. So class representatives, so we have 2 5th grade class representatives from each 5th grade class and 2 4th grade class representatives from each 4th grade class. So those that ran for president and vice president could also run for class rep, as well as anybody else that wanted to run. Class reps are a little bit different. They did their speech just in their class, and their peers voted for them. For president and vice president, all 4th grade and all 5th grade voted for them. So it's on a different scale. But we have 2 from each class, so that's why we have 20 students. So what does Student Council do? A lot of things. We've created many videos throughout the years. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. Campus expectations, playground equipment videos, mental health and Earth Day videos. We'll record them and then post them for everyone to see, for all the students to show their, the teachers to show their students. We have monthly popsicle sales, which is we started a few years ago. It's a huge hit, and it's a big moneymaker for our fundraisers, so that's always great. We also have student stores like Santa Store, Valentine's Store, and they choose at the end of the year which they buy a 4th and 5th grade yearbook for every student on campus with the money that they raise, and then the remaining amount they choose which charities to donate to. So we've donated to Carpinteria Children's Project, we've donated to the pool, we've donated to Cottage Hospital, UCLA, local homeless shelters. So we vote and they choose where the rest of that money goes. We're in charge of Red Ribbon Week, which is actually coming up in a few weeks. Family Math Night, we're going to be selling dinner to families. They are our Halloween costume contest judges. We also have a yearbook cover contest. They are in charge of the Great Kindness Challenge every January. Again, Spirit Weeks, tournaments, Read Across America Day, they read to younger students. They helped with Teacher Appreciation Week last week, which was great, and book swaps. And I have a few photos of each of those, or a few of those. So last year, that was our Halloween costume judges. They're in the middle. Read Across America is a family school student that read to a first grade class. Red Ribbon Week, we always have students wear red on the first day. So that day we created a heart shape with the entire campus. Bottom left, popsicle sales. There's a bulletin board that we created several years ago, spreading peace. And then a couple copies of our yearbook cover, which is really exciting. So all 5th graders are able to participate in the cover contest, and then they judge. They get to be the judges. On the left side, just some ideas that we did for Kindness Challenge and Spirit Week from last year. Monthly tournaments are a huge hit. They will be voting this week on which tournaments they want for the year. We have one at the end of every month. So there's a few pictures of those, and we give out certificates and usually a free popsicle when we sell popsicles. And Coach Eric helps me facilitate that. A couple years ago, we had an Eagle Scout. He built us a wonderful bench, and Student Council painted it. They called it the Buddy Bench. There was a contest of what picture we were going to paint on the bench, and so they came up with that, and it turned out really great. It's very popular. Hopefully, we'll do another one soon. Here's Miss Hallie on the bottom left. She was our 4th grade VP last year. She's the one that started the book swaps, which are very, very popular. So we try to do those at least every other month. There's a picture of Santa Store. And last year, our president, Josephine Patterson, came up with a suggestion box that we leave out on campus so that all students have an opportunity to share their suggestions. And last year, in I think it was January, February, we worked with Daniel Dancer for Art for the Sky. I'm sure you heard about it. So Student Council helped collect, I think we had over 600 pairs of jeans, and they actually did the measurements with Daniel on the field. So they were really instrumental in putting that project together. And that's all. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions from the board?
So I have a question for the council here. I saw a gaga ball court out on the field. Is that a tournament coming up too?
We don't know yet.
Is
It's
that
on the list. They haven't voted yet.
Is it a popular activity? Yeah. Every Friday, yeah.
Every Friday, and there's so many kids who do it.
Yeah, it's very popular.
All right.
Very cool.
They take out soccer, so it must be popular.
No, soccer. They take all the soccer out and put it away.
They take all the soccer out and just play gaga ball?
That sounds pretty awesome.
Does that work? Kind of, okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I know that you guys have, dinner and maybe some reading. Oh, that's right. There's a part two. Sorry. Okay, let's go on to part two.
Did anybody want to say anything to the school board about being on the student council? Not really. Well, this is obviously a very fabulous group of students and their parents, and thank you for coming to the board. And I think it's helpful for everybody to see that we have a fabulous leadership team at the student level at Catalino and Carpinteria Family School. And it's really Shanna who's facilitated this, as she said, for the last 10 years. She's fabulous and wonderful, and we're so lucky to have everybody here leading the school.
Well, I think it's
the
so
campus.
impressive that you have this much participation, and
Yeah.
you guys are all super engaged, it looks like, right? You all want to make a difference in your school. Yeah, make it better for everybody.
So
Make
we
a
invite
difference.
you
All right,
to
good
think
job,
about
Reese.
middle school. We have Associated Student Body, ASB, in middle school and high school. And I can see that you'll be our ASB leaders maybe someday. So this is wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
So some of these students are going to also be part of the next one, but you can have a seat unless you're doing the gate, the robotics. You can stay up here. So I'm going to introduce Crystal Marshall, who is our gate coordinator, and she also does a robotics club at Catalino and Family School after school, and I actually got to sit in that today. So I'm going to have Crystal come up.
Hello. Yes, my name is Crystal Marshall. I'm the gate coordinator, and I focus on STEAM education throughout the district and Summerland. Last year was my first year teaching robotics, and this is my first year doing robotics club, which is for 12 hours after school. So here are some pictures of my students this year and what they have already accomplished. There are 17 total Catalino and Family School fifth graders. These students were invited based on if they were already designated as GATE students or they were nominated last school year for testing, and either were or were not enveloped into the GATE program. And girls do make up the majority of this club. Okay, for race demographics, it is mostly white students, and then Hispanic and Asian are the next most common minorities. Most students are English-only speakers as well as neurotypical, and we do have 3 students who are emerging bilinguals, and those students are either neurotypical and or they are neurodiverse. These students work in teams of 3 twice a week as they work on constructing a robot or now some other constructions. We're learning about criteria and constraints and how to work when your resources or time are limited. So that was the first session. It's also a great team building activity. Then they got a list of parts that they would need to collect from larger storage bins and how many they would need. And then they would match it up with a fold out to make sure that they had retrieved the correct piece and then stored those pieces separately just for easier parts management. Okay, we've also been looking at race and gender demographics of the field, and they did a wonderful job this week and last week of brainstorming ways to make the career field more equitable. Okay, they have been building robots for about 3 weeks now, and here are some photos of that. They also, once their robot is built, once the prototype model is done, they run timed trials to push cubes across a constant distance. Then they find the average time that it took them, and then they make modifications based on what the bot's shortcomings are to make it more efficient at its task. Then they run the timed trial again with the same variables. and then they find the average and compare if their modifications have or have not been successful. And here's some more photos of that. And I do have 2 student speakers who want to share about their personal experience with this club.
Wonderful, thank you.
Hello, my name is Leah Hines, and I am the robotics club with Miss Marshall this year. When I grow up, I want to be an interior designer and architect. When I learned I was invited to this club, I felt really excited because I know robotics is fun and I'm able to learn a lot. Currently, we are halfway through the club. So far, we learned how to build a robot and we learned a little bit of robot history. We also learned how robots were made and the different types of robots. Our goal is to learn about robots. I am looking forward to spending time with this group. Overall, robotics is fun and exciting. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Elias Palm, and I am in robotics club with Miss Marshall this year. When I grow up, I want to be a professional soccer player. When I learned I was invited to this club, I didn't really know how to feel because I had no idea what it was going to be like. So far, we have learned how to pair controllers with robots. We also learned that the Unimate was the very first robot made in 1961 by George Duvall. Our goal is to learn more about robots. I'm looking forward to racing our robots. Overall, Robotics Club is good, but not awesome. Thank you for your time.
Why, thank you. Okay.
So I think it's clear that the future of carpentry is in good hands with our youngest students at the elementary school. And I want to thank the parents and the families and, of course, our staff members who are leading these students. I'm a very lucky principal indeed to have all these people.
You are. So this is a club right now, isn't it?
Correct. Well, it's also a
School?
part of their curriculum for the
Yeah.
GATE students, but this is an additional slot after-school program.
So,
It's
so
part
these
of
these,
ELOP.
These students so will they be able to visit the robotics program at the middle school or the high school?
I think we can certainly manage that, yes.
Because I think the second semester at the middle school, there's that technology class is dedicated solely to robotics.
That's a great idea.
And
Yeah.
then and then the new engineering lab at the high school, I think it'd be
Yeah, little
Yeah.
field trips, that would be great. I'm sure Ms. Marshall will probably be interested in that. Yes, great. Any other questions for us?
Anybody else?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Another round of applause for the kids, for our council. Great job for the parents for coming and bringing everybody here. I see some soccer gear and some other stuff, so if there's anybody that needs to leave, you guys can go ahead and take off. Okay, and do we have any public comment on the Catalino Family School presentation? If anybody would like to make public comment, please step up to the podium in a line, and it's all yours.
Thank you. So first, congratulations to our Catalino and CFS student leaders. It takes a lot of courage to stand before your peers and put yourself out there for the betterment of your school and community, and they're clearly demonstrating that. Second, it was great to see the presentations on the robotics club at the elementary level. Once again, Ms. Marshall and our students are showing us that these students' interest and enthusiasm can provide exponential returns on our investments in student learning. Lastly, in regard to the future opportunities in engineering pathways, the board should be aware that the next formal opportunity for exploring engineering pathways once these kids leave the elementary school, and far from what Mr. Schaefer just suggested, it is not offered at the middle school, it's offered at the high school. As union leadership shared in previous meetings, although the CUSD LCAP stated that Carpinteria Middle School offers this electives course to prepare students for CTE engineering pathways at Carpinteria High School, no such course, $84,000+ price tag, exists at the middle school. Although there has been an Intro to Tech course that contains a very short unit that introduced the topics of robotics, it is but a small part of the single semester long course in a student's 3-year middle school experience. The Intro to Tech course is focused on keyboarding, video presentation, and other basics of computer usage. It is neither aligned with the high school's engineering pathway as stated in the LCAP, nor is it a full electives course as stated in the LCAP. Union leadership does not only mention this based on our concern about the misleading financial statements district leadership is making to the county and the state. We also mention it because these very kids we heard from today are beginning to build the habits and talents required to succeed in future engineering pathways. But there is no such program or even a single full semester engineering or robotics course when they get to the middle school. One would think that this might be an important consideration for parents considering whether they will or will not send their kids to the middle school next year. Claiming these resources but failing to provide them is unlikely to provide these families the confidence that the middle school is the right choice. Union leadership is compelled to remind the board that CMS, under the leadership of Ms. Rigby and Principal O'Shea, is the only school in the district that has suffered 5 straight years of declining enrollment. Let these kids and families, give these kids and families the resources they need to continue their academic engagement and success, and ensure that the middle school is again one day an attractive alternative for the families in our community, even including families of district employees, administrators, and board members who seek alternative educational settings themselves. Thank you.
Does anybody else have public comment on the actual agenda item of the Canalino Family School presentation on student council and robotics? Okay.
I'd just like to,
Discussion?
I don't blame Mr. Hochner since he's been unemployed for a year, but there is an entire semester dedicated to robotics at the middle school, second semester. So just to clarify, I know he's beating that drum, but he's totally wrong.
Okay, so next we have AHA, a year-end report for the 22-23 school year. We have a presentation from AHA. We have Executive Director Roxy Petty, and are there others with you? Oh, so many. Okay, and others, sorry.
We'll call them up as we need
okay.
them up here.
All right, thanks.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting us here this evening. It's a pleasure to be here, to be in community, and to witness what we just witnessed with these young leaders. And so my heart's just warm in that. So I'm going to go ahead. Is this the clicker, Monica? Yes. Okay, let me see. Okay. So my name is Roxy Petty. I have been with AHA since 2014 and as the executive director since 2020. So I got the COVID years, yay, good for me. We're still here, we're all still here. So I did some research earlier today and I called our accountant that we have since 2010 because I was trying to figure out when we actually started our partnership. And we went back to when her first year, which was fall of 2009, which we started with Carpinteria High School. And so I just want to say how much we feel so proud and privileged to be able to be in this partnership. So a lot of people know about social emotional learning, and a lot of people still wonder what it's about. So I just wanted to take a moment to bring the why we do what we do, right? So at AHA, we focus on provided opportunities to our young students, their families, and even to some educators in the district to be able to learn and expand and to connect with others. And the reason we do that is for the following. When it comes to academic achievement, hundreds of studies involving more than 1 million students worldwide across pre-K to 12th grade offer consistent evidence that social emotional learning has a positive impact on students' academic achievement. Students participating in social emotional learning at school have a higher level of school functioning as reflected by their grades, test scores, attendance, and homework completion. Results endorse that compared to controlled conditions, students who participate in universal school-based social emotional content experience significantly improved skills, attitudes, behaviors, school climate and safety, peer relationship, school functioning, and academic achievement. So all of our programming that we will talk about today has the fundamental outreach that I just mentioned in offering your students an opportunity to exceed. When we speak around mental health and social emotional learning can promote positive mental health in many ways by promoting responsive relationships, emotionally safe environments, and skills development. Social emotional cultivates important protective factors to buffer against mental health risks. In this way, social emotional learning is an indispensable part of student mental health and wellness, helping to improve attitudes about self and others while decreasing emotional distress and risky behaviors. So it's my pleasure to invite the rest of my team up to actually go through our presentation tonight. And you'll see that the presentation that is being shown is a little different than I believe the one that was shared, Monica? Oh, they have it. Okay, wonderful. Great news. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. Next, you're going to be able to hear from two of our youth that have participated in our programming. One of them isn't here because she wasn't able to make it, but she did send something for me to read. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that one, and then I'm going to call the other two young speakers up. This is from Ellie Georges, which is a 9th grade student at Carpinteria High School and has been with AHA throughout their middle school years. For me, AHA is a safe place to express myself and to make new friends. AHA is a community for me, and I have many wonderful memories. Some of my favorite memories with AHA are the hiking day and the double dolphin, but mostly the connections that I've made with the facilitators and new friends. And you'll hear many different avenues of ways that we were able to benefit each individual teen. It's different per person, and they're all equally important. And so I'm going to go ahead and invite over Katie Paris. Oh, wonderful. Well, in that case, let me go ahead and mention that Gwyneth Holnan is also here, both 8th graders.
AHA is important to me because it helps many people I know, including myself, learn how to communicate better with adults and others. It teaches us to not be afraid to be ourselves, and that no matter what, there will always be people who accept you for who you are. It shows us to trust and respect ourselves and others. These are just some of the many reasons that AHA is important to me.
AHA is important to me because it allows and gives me a space to explore myself and my individuality, but it also allows me to express myself in a community. It teaches me how to mend and create relationships with different people throughout my life and keep them healthy and to prevent unhealthy situations and relationships. That's why it's important to me and so many others.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and invite over Caitlin. Thank you.
And you click it that way. Okay, great. Put this down a little bit.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Caitlin, and I am the school liaison at AHA and also the lead of Peace Builders and Connect to Thrive at Carpinteria Middle School. Very gratefully. So proud of Gwen and so proud of Katie and Ellie, who is not here. I would love to share with you all a little bit about what we've been up to at CMS over this last year. We offered AHA Heroes Assemblies, AHA Councils, AHA Peace Builders, an after-school program, which Katie and Gwen both are in, and then our AHA Connect to Thrive program as well. So we'll start with our Heroes Assemblies. So AHA Heroes Assemblies. In-person Heroes Assemblies focus on cultivating positive leadership qualities, building essential connections between social groups, and inspiring each student and adult to find the power within themselves to recognize how taking care of themselves mentally, emotionally, and physically can have a positive impact on how they show up in their school community. Over the course of this last year, there was 460 students and teachers served. We are very thankful. One of the testimonials that is listed in this presentation that really stand out to me is this one. I thought this assembly was helpful because I was already going to join, and now I'm for sure joining. This student is talking about our Peace Builders groups and our after-school groups. The reason this stood out to me is just because it's always beautiful to me to witness how when we offer students an opportunity to connect, they actually say yes to it. They lean in, and they realize how leading with curiosity is actually kind of infectious, and they decide so often on their own that they kind of want more of that. And so it is really special to witness that, and these assemblies, even though we're only hitting them one time, can really open that for each student, and then they end up doing Peace Builders or one of our other after-school groups. There's more data here for you all to look at. And then I'm going to shift to our in-class councils. So AHA held 2 council circles at CMS over this last year. Each group met with AHA leaders once weekly for 4 consecutive weeks, dividing classrooms into groups of no more than 15 students and teachers per AHA facilitator. So council is a format for sharing what is on our minds and hearts, and listening to others in a non-judgmental space of confidentiality and appreciation. So this is really meaningful to me because I know that when I was in middle school and high school, I didn't oftentimes feel like I had an opportunity to just share what was on my mind and heart openly with others. And so councils really offers that opportunity to build community in the classroom and beyond. And over the course of last year, there were 201 students and their teachers served throughout CUSD. And then we're going to move on to our Peace Builders program. So this one makes me smile just sharing about it because it means so much to me. So Katie and Gwen are also in our Peace Builder groups. Peace Builder groups were held in person on campus at Carpinteria Middle School during after-school hours from October 2022 through May 2023. And actually, our fall Peace Builder group just started up. In fact, we had our second after-school group just today. It was awesome. At once weekly meetings, students participated in check-ins, mindfulness practices, group discussions, and other activities and learning segments. The group provided the teens with a safe space to share about their lives, challenges, and accomplishments. And I will share, speaking of accomplishments, that includes these 2 awesome humans right here. We actually had the opportunity at CMS to lead connection circles, all of the students and Peace Builders, with their teachers at a staff meeting. And so they were actually able to connect with their teachers and share a connection circle around building allyship at the Carpinteria Middle School. And that was truly one of the most meaningful things to witness and an awesome opportunity for connection. And then Lastly, we have our Connect to Thrive program. So in a ratio of no more than 6 to 7 students per skilled AHA facilitator, AHA visited 2 class periods per week for 10 weeks in both fall and spring semesters. Hosted by art teacher Ryan Ethington. Big shout out to Ryan Ethington. He has been amazing. Yes, it is true, an enthusiastic collaborator in the AHA method. AHA introduced through large and small group discussions, active games and activities, brief presentations and small group conversations, themes of social awareness, mindfulness, strengths mindset, embracing differences, emotion identification, flooding, self-care, on and on and on. The beautiful thing about this program is that we do it all through art making. So the students are not only connecting, they are connecting, collaborating, and creating as well through art. So there were 83 students served with Connect to Thrive through the fall and spring semester. So I will leave it at that, and I will pass it over to AHA's Director of Programs, Brandon Battle. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ooh, I just got nervous. Hello, everybody. My name's Brandon Battle. I'm the Director of Programs. So happy to be here. I have the privilege of speaking on the programs that we have at Carpinteria High School, some of which are our Peace Builders Leadership Program, our Get Focused, Stay Focused program with our freshmen, and the AHA Councils, and the summer programs that our first time doing our summer programs with Carp High and Carp Middle School. I have a lot of slides to go through, so I'm going to keep it relatively brief as I go through it. But I do want to say, as someone that was born and raised in Goleta, lived and went to college in Santa Barbara, I now live in Carpinteria, and I walk my dog along the beach every day, and I enjoyed the deep fried avocado at the Avocado Festival this weekend. So first, with the AHA Peace Builder Leadership Program, it was a joy to witness the leadership program open their classroom and their space to us with all the busy things between their dances and weekly events that they do on Fridays and whatnot, to allow us to come into their space weekly from October to May for an average of 22 sessions to host, mindfulness, connection circles, activities that work on their team building, group discussions, all with the topics of deep listening, empathy, relationship repair, and working with conflict styles. And something that I think was really special about allowing these teens to be the ones that are learning our connection circle leadership is that once a month, with the help of some facilitators, they would go during lunch and lead connection circles with their peers, which I believe really deepens the experience, the safetiness, the empathy of their student body. We have surveys that we do every year that rate their experience with us through their self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. One thing that I wanted to point out that I found interesting and beautiful is that their social awareness in this program really rose. That knowing that their peers come from many different backgrounds and approaching them with curiosity instead of judgment is a super important thing to me. As we just all have different reasons for being who we are, and just to be in a space where they are learning from each other is really important. Some of the quotes that came out of this, I just thought this was a funny one. A good change in my life was when the first day of AHA happened. I just love hearing that. And at the bottom, I learned how to control control our emotions, and enjoyed the lesson about it's okay to ask for help or need help, which again is just a beautiful thing to actually be able to name out loud. I will move on to our in-school program. So we work with the freshmen and been doing this for quite a while. It's called our Get Focused, Stay Focused program, where over a span of 10 weeks, a team of facilitators with the ratio of 7 to 8 students per facilitator are engaged in topics around emotional management, stereotypes, isms, relationship repair, bullying behavior, and are engaged in big group activities and get into small groups to have personal discussions on each topic. We served 166 freshmen this year. And something that I want to point out is that we have now a CARP Middle School program that is also kind of in the same vein as the CARP High, and there is some overlap for that. The cool thing about our CARP High Get Focused, Stay Focused program is that we do see almost every teen in that. So throughout the years that we've been doing it, every student, almost every student, because kids are absent, almost every student is walking around with these skills that we're sharing with them. Some of the survey information that you can always look through, as in your packets, I just want to point out the self-awareness skill set of just knowing what my strengths are and knowing the emotions that I feel at 80% and 79, and the responsible decision-making, which I think is really important for our teenagers, of just thinking about what might happen before making a decision, engaging that frontal lobe. So then moving on is our in-class councils at CARP High, which is a series of 10 councils that meet for 4 consecutive weeks. And, you know, Caitlin spoke on this really well, but just an opportunity to dive a little bit deeper with the classroom. It is a little bit more of a targeted approach where the school admin and teachers get to decide who is working with this for different reasons, and we have different topics that we engage them with this. We often find that it's a big support in reducing the stereotyping and the prejudice and discrimination, and promote just a campus of safety and belonging. Just by going around and answering similar questions, thinking about how they show up and the impact that they have on one another. And we serve 201 students and their teachers as well, which we have some nice quotes from as well. But some of the data, what I wanted to point out is that there was about a 12% raise in their feeling of empathy towards their peers, which I know empathy is a word that gets thrown around a lot, and I enjoy hearing it every time that I hear it, because it's a beautiful thing. Sorry, I don't know if I'm moving too fast or whatnot, but ask questions if you need to. For our feedback, finding out that I have deeper things in common with my peers was something that really stood out to me. And just getting a chance to talk and connect with each other outside of their normal classroom format, as well as just having more sessions. I always laugh when we see that. As well as there was some really good, I think, boundary setting for some of these students that were talking about the personal questions asked and having alternatives for them. And I want to name that we really do take the feedback that we get from our teens and try to update and shift what we're doing with them to make sure that everyone's feeling comfortable. And know that it's volunteering, you know, this type of connection within the spaces that we have. For our teacher feedback, I just liked our first one that spoke to the students were all engaged, which is not normally true for an English class. And I understand that they're living, you know, their lives are full of many different things. And so showing up in class and being engaged throughout a whole time is hard for them. And I think the format that we're able to do, and also just bringing a team of facilitators for them to connect with, allows for them to really deepen their connection with one another. And another one I just named, I really appreciate that students became serious in discussions that AHA led. They were able to mature a bit. And just a silly one with also the feedback, but tell me what Black Magic is. That's a fun game that's about inclusivity and exclusivity, where there's like a silly rule about the game that you have to try to guess as you go. And it sometimes has taken even some of our AHA facilitators years to figure out the secret to it. And just having newer questions and activities, because some of the students had gone into emotional management and, you know, relationship repair in CARP Middle School. And so I know Caitlin has actually been working with Ethington to create a little bit more of a diverse group program with them, using the art and exploring these topics in a way that will feel different when they get to the high school level as well. Moving on, there's our parent groups. We led 2, one in the fall semester with CARP Middle School, and one in spring with our CARP High, where we served 28 total. Our parent groups is just a taste of what we get to do in our groups with our teens, and they often ask when it's my turn to do it. And so this was their turn. They often work with the same competencies and improving or maintaining a great relationship with their kids throughout their teen years, as well as strategies to promote family harmony and their child's mental wellness. And something that's beautiful that I think is really important, I have a 14-year-old as well, and just having childcare and dinner that were provided for those allows them to fully show up in a beautiful way. And lastly, I believe, is our Carpinteria summer program. This was a really fun start to our summer program. We've been having a summer program in Santa Barbara for quite some time now. And to be able to offer this in CARP at the school campus so that they could just go straight there was a real joy. And so we had 28 students show up. They had beach days, they tie-dyed, they did a lot of team building activities, a lot of connection. And we had a blend of CARP Middle School and CARP High students. What was I going to say around this? Just that there were a lot of, when I went there were a lot of teens that mentioned they were there for the community service and ended up staying for the connection. And I think that's one beautiful thing to name, that once they get there and they see what we're trying to do, and that we're just here to get them to think about who they are and who others are and why they are, and just learn some social skills in a safe environment, they really do stick around and have a good time. And I think these pictures at the end really show that they had a great time tie-dyeing and hanging out at the beach. One of the quotes that I liked was that I feel more comfortable with my emotions, and I have more energy at home, which I totally empathize with. And I think that I can talk to other people easier and get to know different people I don't normally talk to. Thank you for this. I mean, serving the Carpinteria High School was just such a beautiful thing last year, and we're really looking forward to this year as well. And so that's the end of my thing, and I'm gonna pass it to Melissa Lowenstein next. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for sitting through this very long, very enthusiastic presentation. So Brandon actually did get to touch on the parent groups, and that's one of the things that's in my purview as the Director of Adult Programming. I also this year got to join the clinical team. I went back to school. That was my COVID project. I am now becoming a therapist. So Sabrina will speak to that aspect of what we do in a little bit. So I would love to share what we did in last year's parent groups, just so you have an idea of the kind of topics that we bring. We really embrace the same format that we use with our teen groups, where adults get to check in with each other, they get to do some mindfulness, they even get to do maybe some games where they laugh and play together. And then we get down to the nitty-gritty and we have a topic where we dig in a little bit and give some education, and then give them a chance to share their wisdom with each other. We talked about discipline and boundaries in the fall, and then the spring we talked about, the general topic was digital wellness, in particular the impact of social media and how parents can work with that, and we all know that's a huge topic for parents right now. And I'll just go into a little bit more about the parent groups and then the educator groups. The feedback is right there. It's wonderful to receive. Usually the thing that they enjoy the most is connecting with other parents and realizing that they're not alone in their struggles. Learning more confidence in maintaining the kind of relationship with their children that will allow them to stay close throughout adolescence, which, as many of us know, can be a really tough time for parents. And just having a chance to share their own experiences, thoughts, and feelings. And they had some suggestions for future topics. A lot of time, the topic is the icing on the cake, and it really is about the connection. But we really do pay attention to this feedback, and we consider it as we move into the following year. We also had an educator workshop. So over the time that we've worked with the district, we've had varying numbers and types of offerings for educators, and we've always loved working with the educators in this district. Last year, we had a workshop entitled From Reactivity to Resiliency. And the idea behind this is that we all need to work with our reactivity. It's not specific to educators, although educators may have a little extra to be reactive about. So we really enjoyed working in a two-part training. We came in during staff meeting time and explored some strategies for shifting from what we call below the line to above the line. And we had a chance in small groups to discuss what they learned and how they could apply it throughout the year, and again, share their wisdom with each other, their considerable wisdom. So we served 45 educators at Carp Middle School with that workshop. And I love the part at the top where they reported that 100% of the teachers reported that the facilitators were very and extremely helpful and skilled. I really like looking at that. And also just that it was a useful training. And we also asked them, we were interested to find out, like, what kind of support do you need from your school or your district to spend time with social emotional learning issues? And we hope that they felt like their input was valued in terms of, yes, we know you understand the importance of these strategies and what will help you implement them more in your classrooms. And with that, I'm going to pass it to our final presenter, who is Sabrina Gachet, AHA's Clinical Director. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am indeed the final presenter, so you can just thank you for your graciousness in hearing all of this information from us tonight. I have had the pleasure of being with AHA since 2014 as well, same as Roxy, and co-facilitated groups both at the junior high and high school, which I have many fond memories of, before stepping into my role as clinical director July of 2022, so about a year and a half ago. What I wanted to just share, many of you probably already know this, but for those that don't, AHA was created in the aftermath of the Columbine shooting back in 1999. So just to give you that as the context that originated this effort to help improve teens' overall and youth's overall wellness in every way, so that no teen would ever feel so disenfranchised and disconnected that they would resort to violence against another peer or against anyone. That remains part of the mission here, and as you have seen this evening, we are doing a whole bunch of different things to accomplish that goal or attempt to. And I wish as a clinician I could say that depression and anxiety were markedly less than they were a year ago when we spoke to you last. And unfortunately, I cannot say that that is true. If anything, we continue to see a rise in depression and anxiety, and not just among youth, but among the families that we work with as well for a whole variety of reasons. The one thing I wanted to just make you aware of, because this is one thing that has actually expanded over the past year since we last spoke or presented to you, is that we really expanded our clinical wing at AHA of what we offer through a initiative where we provide 6 free counseling sessions to anybody involved in our program, including parents or guardians of the teens that are involved in our programs, and also to educators, both in Santa Barbara and Carpinteria. Many people have taken advantage of that offering. It's pretty hard to find a therapist that's available these days, to be honest, and to have 6 free sessions is pretty cool. The numbers, as you can see, actually I have to hit the clicker. How do I do this? The red one? The right one? Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far back. There we go. It is on there. So just in the last year, July 22 to June 23, AHA was able to provide English and Spanish therapy services to 22 youth and 29 adults. What's interesting here is that there's more adults than youth when you look at that, but in some cases that's due to family therapy and having both parents present along with their child. What that translates to in terms of sessions, and I did this math because I was curious myself, is that came out to 219 free therapy sessions that were provided and 84 very, very low-cost therapy sessions. So we're really proud to be able to offer this. We're constantly applying for grants to be able to continue to provide that service, but we're just thrilled to be in partnership with you all because we all share the same heart which is for the healthy development of these young people becoming happy and healthy adults, and hopefully supporting their entire family in that journey. Thank you so, so much for your time. And the last piece is just any questions or comments that you may have for us.
Wonderful, thank you. Any questions from the board for the AHA team?
I have a couple.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks you
Go ahead.
guys. That was a great presentation. A couple things. What I think we've all kind of seen over the years is that elementary school, the kids are all pretty, copacetic with everything going on. Their attitudes are good. They've got good one-on-one relationships with their teachers and their peers. And then something happens, hormones and social stuff at this, moving to middle school, and then those students tend to come back to, they figure out what they want to do, and their attitudes improve when they get to high school, kind of the end of their career. And I'm just wondering if there's any way to identify and maybe have slightly earlier interventions, maybe 5th, 6th grade, maybe focus really in on that so that we don't have as many of these emotional issues in the 7th and 8th grade years, so that when they get to the high school, they're taking those 2 steps forward rather than 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I don't know if that's something that you guys have thought about. And then also another thing that I've been studying up a lot about is and I just didn't know if this is something that AHA is even in your purview or consideration, but was with diet and nutrition, in that a lot of the social and emotional problems that everyone has, but students in particular, is, if they don't get enough sleep, or if they're on their phones really late, or if they're stressed out, their bodies are getting depleted of nutrition, and then they don't eat right, and that really contributes to their overall, mental state. And I don't know if that's something that I know the school can only do so much in that regard, but as an outside organization, I didn't know if that was something that you guys that you've all considered, with kind of doing even having a standalone unit of nutritional counseling for parents, so that, because a lot of people just don't know, how your body works and how it gets depleted, and then you stress, and then, the doctors just want to put them on SSRIs and get them, and I don't think that's healthy. It may calm them down for a short while, but I don't think it's really a good long-term strategy.
Yes, and thank you for the questions.
That was a lot of questions.
Going back to your initial question in regards to 4th and 5th graders, I think for us, we've been learning that younger children are very much adapted to be able to connect in the way that we do lead connection circles. And we realized that when we did our Heroes Assemblies, and for the first time engaged with the 6th graders, and realized that they were very prepared to actually be able to sit in a circle. And we were also very impressed with their ability to want to be engaged. They were very happy to be asked these questions. And I think it was Brandon who mentioned that we're continuously learning as we are providing our services. And we would love to be able to, expand and be able to include younger children. I think the hardship in that is just, funding, and then just the time and the effort to have enough trained staff to be able to reach further in regards to grades. But that's something that definitely is an important piece of the collaboration aspect of having this type of partnership and understanding the needs that the district has, and how we're able with time to, apply for grants and try to work something out where we're able to be inclusive of those grade levels. I do know that youth are ready and willing to be able to have these conversations, and they're curious. when it comes to the why do they all of a sudden start to, have issues once they start getting into junior high? Well, there's many reasons. I have 4 children, and each one of them has been different. One thing I will say that has been a dividing factor, at least for myself, and I will speak for myself right in this moment, is that when you hand over a device to your child is the moment you do have to start parenting differently and having more conversations that maybe you wouldn't think a 4th grader needs to have, because the things that they do see online are gonna come up for them, and they will, have questions, and if they don't feel comfortable to ask because they're gonna get in trouble because they accidentally saw it or whatnot, those areas of concern will continue to change within the child if they're being exposed to more and more things online or through conversations. And so what I would like to just say here is when we have an open communication with our kids, it's going to lead to more opportunities to talk about things before they become problems. And so if there's anything that I can say at this point in time, it's just, parents out there, just, please really take the time to talk to your children. And not just like, how are you doing, but like actually ask them what they're thinking about. If they overhear the news, like engage them in that conversation, because they do have, their own concerns. And for us, it's just important to be able to acknowledge them for the human beings that they are and they're becoming. And the sooner you get to the point where they feel comfortable in talking to you, the better it will be in that shorter period of time of, I think, the disconnection between the parent and then adults in general will happen. And so if they feel that they can trust you as a parent, they're going to feel like they can trust their educators or the people that work at the schools.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's those students that don't have that connection with their parents that or the parents just, or
the time.
We see it in other stuff we do, and they just don't know. They get to a certain point and they don't know what to do.
Right.
And then the child ends up becoming the dominant figure in that relationship, and I've it's been, it's troubled me since I've been on the school board, and that we see these youth come in and they need direction, they need guidance, and they're not getting it home. And I know we can do so. The school tries to identify those students, and there's only so much you can do, right?
Right.
I mean, you can't become the person in their life, but you need to. Somehow we can, if we could identify those students earlier, and just give that extra little bit of help. But I just didn't know if it, like with AHA, it's more of a broad-based, counseling in schools, right? With the assemblies and then the breakout sessions.
Right. Well, our smaller groups do. It's 1 to 7 is usually where we like to keep our ratio. And so we do have normally a clinician within each group. And those clinicians are there to keep an eye on any red flags or things that we need to address with the administration at that school. And also then to be able to offer them some sessions so that they can get the support that they need. And that was the other thing that I was going to mention, is that AHA, about just over 1/3 of our staff are clinical based. So I see that Melissa's here.
I'm hovering. Do you mind?
No, not at all.
Okay. And those 5th and 6th graders, although this is also shifting, are really in a different developmental stage. And when we see them sort of lurch into adolescence with all the changes, it's not just hormonal, it's the brain, their whole, what's happening with their brains changes. So we like to think that we are catching them, right, as they come out of that time. And we wish we could do more. It would be a different approach with a 5th grader than it is with an older child. Yeah. And then can I answer the question about nutrition real quick? Yeah? So our MO, this is a great idea to talk about this more. I'm actually taking this I'm also director of content, so I write the curriculum, so thank you for bringing this up. We like to believe that when when children feel good about themselves and they're self-aware and they become more mindful, that they take better care of their bodies. And this has borne itself out in our programs. We don't actually have research to show that they switch from, hot Cheetos to broccoli because of our groups, but we do see some movement in that direction as they come to love themselves more. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think just basics like not, showing them how different it feels to maybe eat a higher protein breakfast rather than going and get a Frappuccino at Starbucks. And then that behavior is going to be improved as a result of that in their schoolwork, and then they're not, distracted or tired or acting out because their blood sugar spikes. Just little things like that, I think, would be, if you could include that in these presentations, I think would go a million. The payoff would be huge, because I just don't think people know. They don't know. The different, they don't know the difference, really at that age, the difference between carbs and protein and how their body deals with it. And I think in the school, we should be doing that at the schools as well in our nutrition programs. Teaching, we probably do it a little bit, but I think just, don't go to Starbucks and or go to the city market and get a Mountain Dew and hot Cheetos in the morning. Have something more substantial.
Right. I mean, really, when it comes to self-care, it's a topic of conversation around what that looks like with what we put in our bodies to give us energy to actually help promote us having a good day, because it makes a difference. What we put in will change how we're feeling throughout the day. Outside of that, we don't go into that subject all too much, I'll be quite honest. But I would be very curious to know if this is something that we want to do. We would most definitely be able to do that, like in our Friday circles when we're having our youth that are in Peace Builders go out and talk to, students about like, what does taking care of your body look like? What does good decision making look like? These are all topics we can actually implement like for next month, this month. And so all of that, if we can get them through Diana, we'll be more than happy to make those changes and have them talk about that. Is there anything else?
Thank you so much. Anybody else on the board have questions?
I don't have a question. I just want to thank all of you, because it is a great program, and I think you're doing wonderful things for children. But I would just like to say that I hope parents realize that there are a lot of terrific programs that are available to them in the district. And to reach, if you feel you're having a problem at home, reach out to your teacher, if not the principal, and they can guide you in the direction that you might need to go in order to get help. It's there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roxy and team. You've made a significant difference in the lives of our students for many, many years, and we really appreciate your partnership. We could not do it without you. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's our honor and privilege to be a part of this team, because that's what it feels like. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Do we have public comment on D2 AHA year-end report? Please step up to the podium.
Alrighty, first, please allow me on behalf of district personnel to express appreciation for many of the services provided by our AHA partners. For at least some of our students, the services you provide can be transformational. In a similar presentation at this time last year, September 27th, the AHA representative stated that CUSD is way ahead of the curve in CUSD, and that remains an accurate characterization in the district. Although union leadership recognizes the value that the AHA partnership brings to CUSD students and families, we continue to receive many concerns from employees we represent about what is beginning to look like the overdiagnosis of student needs and the overprescription of the AHA program. Although union leadership appreciates the questions Mr. Schaefer asked, we're compelled to ask a few other difficult questions that aren't being asked by our district leaders. That is part and parcel of the duty that we have as union leadership. So question one, if after so many years of CUSD investing in the AHA partnership, we are told that we are seeing increased need for services versus declining need for AHA's mental health services, is this program meeting the objectives it claims to provide? Another question is, similarly, is it possible that the AHA program has taken on a self-perpetuating business model where both the needs it espouses and the services it provides simultaneously grow and expand while consuming an ever-increasing slice of public dollars and critical resources? Last year, at the September 13th, 22 board meeting, the board endorsed both a $143,000 and $40,000 expenditure cited in the LCAP on page 29, item 2.5. Then in May 2023, the board endorsed a $164,500 expenditure for even more AHA training for the district and students and employees. On September 12th, recently, the board again endorsed another $40,000 and $159,000 expenditure to further implement AHA at the middle school and CMS and to improve school climates. All really valuable ideas, right? That one's on pages 25 and 29, items 2, 10, and 2.5 respectively. All the while, feedback from many of our school sites suggests that AHA is being grossly overprescribed to both students and adults, so much so that students and adults must often be provided stipends to participate. Union leadership is concerned about the money and time this draws from other priorities the district is failing to adequately address. For example, money, resources, and time taken away from providing students other concrete opportunities such as full semester engineering electives at multiple grade levels, or honing administrative safety practices on our school sites, or implementing discipline policies with more fidelity and consistency, funding restorative justice practices so that they can function as they are designed, or extensive after-school sports programs for middle school students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else, any further public comment on this item? Okay. I just like to say that I've watched AHA over the years at the schools. My son started back in, I believe it was 2012. So in the earlier years of AHA, and I've seen it grow over the years to the sites and to parents and staff. But a phrase that gets thrown around is carpentry is special, but we're not that special. Increased mental health issues and the need for more help for students and adults has only gone up nationwide over the last several years, especially. But even before then, it was going up. There are too many things that are becoming more and more available to our youth that cause them to, whether it's tearing themselves down or as a parent, you weren't raised with the ability to communicate with your children like that. And so I feel like AHA, unfortunately, instead of being able, like you were saying, you're not able to kind of push, you have to catch. And I think that's what Mr. Schaefer was getting at. Instead of having to catch the kids as they're falling or struggling, being able to equip them better. And I believe that's what you're working very hard to do. So thank you very much. Okay. Moving on, we have our student representative report. We have Isabella. Thank you so much.
Last Wednesday, we hosted Higher Education Week. Over 30 college representatives were on campus to answer any questions from 11th and 12th grade students. We will have another Higher Education Week in the spring for 9th and 10th grade students. This week is Spirit Week at Carpinteria High School. Friday will be the homecoming game, and on Saturday, homecoming dance will be held in the gym from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tickets are still on sale at the business window. Monday, October 16th, registered students in 10th and 11th grades will be taking the PSAT at 8 a.m. in the gym. Thank you.
Thank you, Isabella. Does the board have any questions for Isabella right now? No? Okay, and I know this has gone late and you have a ton of homework, so please feel free if you need to go. Thanks. Okay, public comment on D3, student representative report. Please feel free to step up to the podium, D3. Seeing none, okay. We are going to move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. I'd like to begin tonight with appreciation. I'd like to recognize the transportation team led by Director Jim Pettit for safely transporting our special education students. Jose Ochoa, Tammy Moreno, Frank Colson, and Gabriel Ochoa. The next item is our County School Safety Symposium. On September 25th, the CUSD District Leadership Team attended the County School Safety Symposium with approximately 200 county school leaders and representatives from the FBI, Sheriff, Police, and County Behavioral Health Unit to learn more about targeted violence prevention and response. Speakers included the following: Special Agent Jeffrey Cunho from the FBI in LA, and he spoke about pre-incident indicators of targeted violence and FBI resources. Dr. Sherilyn Lee, who's a psychologist with the Santa Barbara County Sheriff. Her presentation was on the behavioral threat assessment and management. Officer Curtis Davis from the LA Police FBI Task Force. He spoke about social media data exploitation. And Lieutenant Joseph Schmidt, he's with our county sheriff, and his topic was surviving an active shooter and stop the bleed. Our leadership team will also attend day number 2 on October 23rd for additional training in the standard response protocols and the comprehensive school safety plan development. School site staff is trained in the standard response protocols during this month of October. The next item is our county approval of our budget. As required by Ed Code Section 42127, the Santa Barbara County Office of Education reviewed the CUSD adopted budget for 23-24. The county office conducted a detailed analysis of the budget for compliance with the state-adopted criteria and standards and approved it as submitted. October 9th, Professional Development Day. This week on October 9th, CUSD teachers participated in professional development. At the elementary level, teachers learned more about a software platform, Renaissance, which reports student assessment data for their PLCs. CMS teachers participated in workshops on behavioral interventions, restorative justice practices, and PLCs. And the CHS teachers visited local technology companies, Agilent, Curvature, and the UCSB Nanotech Lab to learn more about career skills and opportunities for our students. The South Coast Chamber of Commerce hosted a luncheon for the high school teachers, and we were featured on John Palminteri's section last night on Channel 3, KUIT News. And then our last item is the Summerlin Courts, School Courts. The opening ceremony will be October 16th at Monday at 1:30. We will gather to open the new Summerlin School Courts and recognize our community donor, Nora McNeely Hurley from the Manitou Fund, for her generous $1.3 million donation to rebuild the beautiful new courts. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Any questions from the board? None? Okay, if anybody has public comment on D4, the superintendent's report, please step up to the podium.
Thank you. So unfortunately, again, there is simply not enough time in the 3 minutes to affirm all the areas and people who deserve recognition in the superintendent's report. Ms. Brigby also reported on the county office's school safety symposium this time. And she confirmed that over 2 months into the school year, CUSD administrators attended the first of 2 trainings on the new safety response protocols district leadership is yet to implement thoroughly in the district. After sharing that district administrators had been directing employees not to use the Hour Zero protocols that will one day be replaced, the superintendent still has not provided a response. Upon review, you will note that the superintendent's report fails to address any details about the lapse in safety protocols or the measures taken to address the lapse. Fortunately, a few site principals are now directing their school site staff to return to the Hour Zero safety protocols that were in place until the new standard response protocols are in place. Believe it or not, around here, that's called progress. Union leadership wants to thank those board members who exerted some influence on the superintendent to begin to address the lapse. We appreciated the opportunity to share the documentation with you that confirmed administrative directives that led to the safety lapse that Ms. Brigby publicly denied. Ms. Brigby also reports that the CUSD 23-24 adopted budget was approved after detailed analysis. Union leadership is pleased to hear that, as it will clarify many details associated with our current collective bargaining process. That said, the community should note that there was no mention in the CUSD adopted budget that include any itemization of the CUSD safety team cost being over $500,000, or CMS engineering electives that don't exist but cost $84,000. It appears that when a detailed analysis is conducted, district leadership does not make the same claims it makes when such scrutiny is not predicted. Lastly, Superintendent Rigby reported on the October 9th Professional Development Day. Union leadership is proud to have worked with the district to increase the work year for district faculty by negotiating an additional professional development date. It took several years for faculty leaders and union representatives to clarify the mistake made by district leadership in 2018 when PD days were reduced. Of the training topics engaged in this past Monday, CMS spent some time focusing on restorative justice practices, and as a result, it seems important to remind district administration and school board that absent sufficient staffing levels, consistent disciplinary expectations, and follow-through on disciplinary consequences, restorative justice practices are reduced to mere rhetoric. These practices are meant to work in conjunction with effective school site discipline policies, not in spite of them. So please make every effort to provide the middle school site administrators the resources and the training they need to maintain an effective disciplinary environment. Thank you.
Okay, any further comment on the superintendent's report? Hearing none, we're going to move on to public comment on items not on this agenda. Please feel free to step right up and yeah.
Hello, school board. I saw that Measure U is going to be discussed later today, and I thought that I would be able to wing this together with my son Frankie, who's on student council and also on the robotics team, but still wanted the opportunity to maybe speak with it. So just a quick chat. As you all know, or most of you know, about a year ago we sort of restarted the conversation about possibly being able to build a pool at the high school. Something that I've been thinking about, and I think our community's been thinking about, is just how a pool would impact our broader student body, not just, our aquatics programs, athletics, but thinking of it in a bigger scale, sort of like with regards to the blue economy, the way that all of our schools in in Santa Barbara have a specialty. And even today, just hearing all of the discussion about AHA, it's like, I just can't express how much I have seen an aquatics program impact positively the mental health and well-being of the community that I'm part of. I have 2 kids in our school district. I absolutely love our school district. I feel so proud to be a Catalino parent. So really, I'm just here to sort of let you all know that myself and a bunch of other parents are here to support the school board in any and all efforts to build a pool at the high school. And we brought some kids along with us, but I just wanted to just let you know that we're here to support this aggressively, enthusiastically, positively, and optimistically. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jess Mayer. I'm going to piggyback on that a little. As a mom of 4 kids who have benefited from everything CUSD has to offer, thank you for all your work for our district. I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of Catalino, of student council, of robotics, and all the other amazing things that happen at our local schools. I'm also here today to help spark a conversation about funding and using any leftover money from Measure U to build a pool at the high school. The newly founded Warrior Pool Foundation and many other eager families are ready to do whatever it takes to make this happen. Having only one pool available for all the aquatic needs of our community leaves many families handicapped when it comes to trying to schedule basic swim lessons, an essential skill in a community located on the ocean. I know because I have spent months on wait lists and paid high prices to make sure my own kids are water safe. Having a pool at the high school could help ensure all Carpinteria kids have an equal opportunity to learn this valuable skill. Also, it would give high school students more opportunities for athletic competition, for building schools to work in the blue economy, and rental income for the district. Growing up, my father was a mussel farmer, and I believe that the blue economy and agriculture go hand in hand. and adding this to our high school could be a great benefit to many. A pool at the high school is a win for our entire community, and I hope that this can become a priority with any remaining funds the district has. And I'm gonna bring up two of my kids to say a little quick something.
Hi, I'm Hallie.
And I'm Evie.
We support a pool for our high school.
We love participating in swim team and junior lifeguards, but also have friends, classmates, and soccer teammates that can't join these activities because they don't even know how to swim.
Third grade swim lessons don't give you enough swim practice to pass either the swim test or swim team tryout or the JG swim test.
Rec swim is only on Saturdays, which is when all the youth sports happen, so most kids never get the opportunity to practice swimming.
Having another pool at the high school could free up more time at the community pool for local families to use it and for swim lessons for the kids that need them.
Elementary school kids like us could also do swim practice at high school pool all year round for PE.
Let's build a pool at the high school. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Really quick. Hi, I'm Lindsay. Not much else to say after these little ladies, but I have 3 kids, 2 at Canalino, so thank you guys for everything. I just basically, just to reiterate what the other ladies have said, I know just growing up, aquatics was a huge part of my life, and I think the benefits are endless, whether it's for athletics or the blue economy, as she was saying. And we've kind of been meeting a few times and have started the process of building a website, a nonprofit, and just discussions on so many different ways to fundraise. And I think there's a want and a need, and we're all excited, like, just to jump in and be a part of it. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, please feel free. Thank you for staying. I know that was a lot.
Thanks for having those kids earlier. That was like a big deal.
Cool, thanks.
And when the union mentions priorities that require more money to improve mental health for our students and community, that's exactly what we're talking about, concrete priorities. This past Friday, the district and CAUS were scheduled to meet for classified negotiations. Usually this is the point in the board meeting where the superintendent and school board members, select school board members, try to spin public sentiment by chastising the union for not delaying or for delaying the bargaining process. But you're unlikely to hear that this time because since the outset of the 23-24 collective bargaining cycle, the district has arbitrarily canceled 5 of 6 scheduled certificated negotiation sessions and 3 of 4 classified negotiation meetings. Unfortunately, last Friday's classified session was no more productive than the CUSD's previous cancellations. The district's bargaining team, Ms. Zapata and the district lawyer, arrived to the session unprepared to negotiate. In fact, they thought, or at least stated they thought, that it was supposed to be an entirely different bargaining meeting, one for teachers, not for support staff. This even after the union had reiterated in several communications that last Friday's meeting was scheduled for negotiating classified support staff contracts. We would have been mystified if this had not become the routine with your bargaining team, Ms. Rigby. But this part did catch us off guard. For reasons still explained, the district notified the union that it was also canceling the remaining 3 classified bargaining sessions scheduled on October 13th, 20th, and 24th. Unfortunately, union leadership has no reason to believe that CUSD will behave any differently than it did during the 22-23 cycle. If the past is present, not only will district employees have to fight for the contract improvements they seek, they will also have to fight to even ensure that the district attends the bargaining sessions it schedules. So let me be clear, let the union be clear. The employees of this district will not walk away from their legal right to renegotiate our contracts. And if that means we have to drag the district to the state court to ensure that this right remains protected, we will. But what a pitiful and unnecessary waste of public monies that would require. And it appears it can only be avoided by your board members' direct intervention. We implore the board members to redirect and supervise the superintendent and the district bargaining team. We have already asked that you directly join the district bargaining teams so as to better understand what is going on here. We also reiterate that your continued lack of oversight does not serve the students or the families of this district. If you continue to forego your duties, it will only further exacerbate the district's legal costs, which already exceed $1 million annually, a 6- to 7-fold increase from the years prior to Superintendent Rigby's arrival. Please get involved in the bargaining process directly. We need you, the students need you, the families need you. Thank you.
Moving on. E1, board policies. Board policy and administrative regulation 1330, use of school facilities, first reading. Sorry about that. The board is asked to approve the first reading of BP and AR 1330, use of school facilities. The governing board believes that school facilities and grounds are a vital community resource, which should be used to foster community involvement and development. Therefore, the board authorizes the use of school facilities by district residents and community groups for purposes specified in the Civic Center Act, to the extent that such does not interfere with school activities or other school-related uses. Are there any questions from the board? Public comment? Please feel free to step up. Seeing none. Any discussion from the board? Okay, may I get a motion?
I'll move to approve Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 1330, first reading.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have E2, removal of Exhibit 1330, use of school facilities, statement of information, first reading. We're asked to approve the removal of E1330, use of school facilities, statement of information. Any questions from the board? Public comment? Any discussion? Okay, may I get a motion?
I'll move to approve the removal of Exhibit 1330, use of school facilities, first reading.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 3, Administrative Regulation 4217.3, layoff rehire, first reading. We are asked to approve the first reading of the new AR 4217.3, layoff rehire. Classified employees shall be subject to layoff for lack of work or lack of funds. Education Code 45114 and 45308. A classified employee shall not be laid off if a short-term employee is retained to render a service that the classified employee is qualified to render. Education Code 45117. Any questions from the board? Public comment? Seeing none, any discussion from the board? May I get a motion?
I move to approve Administrative Regulation 4217.3, layoff and rehire.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Board Policy 5131.9, Academic Honesty, first reading. The board is asked to approve the first reading of BP 5131.9, Academic Honesty. The governing board believes that academic honesty and personal integrity are fundamental components of a student's education and character development. The board expects that students will not cheat, lie, plagiarize, or commit other acts of academic dishonesty. Students, parents, guardians, staff, and administrators shall be responsible for creating and maintaining a positive school climate that encourages honesty. Students found to have committed an act of academic dishonesty shall be subject to district and school site discipline rules. Any questions? Public comment on Board Policy 5131.9.
Unless I run out of time, this will be union leadership's comments regarding item 4, item 5.6, and item 7. Academic honesty homework, makeup work, and student assessments that will be covered. Union leadership appreciates that the board is, alas, addressing some of these issues. Academic honesty being item 4, homework and makeup work being items 5 and 6, and student assessments being item 7. It has been the belief of many faculty members, and especially our most experienced faculty members, that the low academic expectations fostered under current leadership are verified in a variety of metrics used to measure student achievement, and that they require amendment and reconsideration. It's been a fabulous focus on mental health, but the COVID years are now almost equally the amount of that time past us, and it's time to refocus on the high expectations we used to have for kids. Instead, there is a string of support for raising expectations to those we previously knew, while ensuring that the resources are actually provided to get both the educators, the students, and the families to a higher level of achievement in the district. Thank you for reconsidering these issues, even on just the first read. And we encourage you to open the discussion up to the teacher leaders across the district before making any definitive decisions on these topics. Thank you.
Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, may I get a motion?
I'll move to approve board policy and board policy 5131.9.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5, Board Policy 6154, Homework, Makeup Work, First Reading. The board is asked to approve the first reading of BP 6154, Homework, Makeup Work. The governing board recognizes that meaningful homework assignments can be a valuable extension of student learning time, provide enrichment, and assist students in developing good study habits. Homework and/or makeup work shall be assigned when necessary to support classroom lessons, enable students to complete unfinished assignments, or review and apply academic content for better understanding. Any questions from the board? Public comment?
You said you already commented on this.
I failed to cover an important point in our last comment, that, and this is important as we consider homework and as we consider, I have the right to speak again? Yes.
I didn't.
Thank you. So as we look at the concept of homework and makeup work and student assessments and academic honesty, simply lowering the bar of academic achievement to celebrate higher passing rates or higher promotion rates or graduation rates, it looks great on paper, and it must feel awesome when you're standing in front of the community spouting those kinds of figures, but it does really little to prepare our students for the road ahead. And so instead, there is a string of support. Instead of doing that, there is a string of support for raising expectations to those that we previously knew, while ensuring that the resources are actually provided to get both the educators, the students, and the families to a higher level of achievement. Thank you again for reconsidering these issues. We encourage you to open the discussion up to teacher leaders across the district before making any definitive decisions on this topic. Thank you.
Any discussion from the board on Board Policy 6154? None. Okay, may I get a motion?
I move to approve Board Policy 6154, Homework, Makeup Work.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6, removal of Administrative Regulation 6154, Homework, Makeup Work, First Reading. We're asked to approve the removal of AR 6154, Homework, Makeup Work. Any questions from the board? Public comment? Seeing none, may I get a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Board Policy, Item 7, Board Policy 6162.5, Student Assessment, First Reading. The board is asked to approve the first reading of BP 6162.5, Student Assessment. The governing board recognizes that student assessments are an important instructional and accountability tool. To obtain the most accurate evaluation of student performance, the district shall use a variety of measures, including district, state, and/or national assessments. Any questions from the board? Public comment on item 7. Seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. And actually, I do have it doesn't make much of a difference, but a clarifying question. We're just updating policies that already exist, correct?
Yes, and removing those that are outdated.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Business Operations Facilities, F1 warrants. The board is asked to approve the warrants for the period of 9/22/23 through 10/5/23 in the amount of $574,555.08. Warrants are issued once a week on Thursdays. The report format shows check number, check date, payee, brief account description, payment comment, and check amount. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, public comment on F1 warrants. Seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the warrants from September 22nd through October 5th.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
G, Measure U. We have a presentation from Assistant Superintendent Business Services, Maureen Fitzgerald.
So this is our semi-annual Measure U update. You're going to notice this in a little bit different format, and I know it's a little bit hard to read up on the screen. But we've now received all of the state money that we were eligible for prior projects. So the way we apply those state funds is replacing the Measure U money used with the state funds and freeing up that Measure U money for future projects. So the monies that the state gives us have to be spent on the projects applied for, and that was all modernization, the Gen 7s, and the admin building. So what you'll see in the first column, in the blue column, are the Measure U bond allocations, including the admin and the technology that was provided early on in the projects for all the classrooms. The $90 million is reflected, as well as one-time income, which is interest, E-rate refunds, and some other miscellaneous refunds from rebates. So there's a total of 91.7 available for Measure U, that's Measure U funds. We received $15.8 million from the state for projects that were already concluded. That is added to the Measure U pool, as well as, and I'll get into this as we go in site by site, the other funds needed for current projects. And then it comes to the red column, which is the total available for projects. The yellow column we'll go over when we get to those schools. We've spent 84.3 to date through June 30th, and we have another 13.7 obligated, and that does include the Aliso TKK building replacement and the Learning Center at Catalino. So those are all inclusive in those numbers. So we have a total available of $16 million plus what we have left in capital facilities, which is just a little over 200,000. So there's 16.2 available for future projects, and I'll talk about that when we get through all of the school projects. So Carpinteria High School has a total allocation, I'll go into the red zone, of $32.2 million. We've spent 31.9, and we have about 230 left, and that includes the current obligations where we haven't paid the bills yet. That's a softball scoreboard. There's improvements to the building in the engineering lab with venting and some ancillary rooms in the engineering lab that weren't originally planned to be upgraded. And then for the increased cameras on campus. That's what comprises that money. So we'll have fully exhausted and completed Carpinteria High School at the end of this year, once everything is paid. Carpinteria Middle School is one of the schools that has a future project that's not funded or not identified yet to be funded, and that's the multipurpose room. So it's on the list, but that we'll get to at the end when we have the rest of our funds to allocate. They have had $7 million allocated, and the current obligations that have not been paid, which would conclude the $7 million, is the panic hardware. So we added panic hardware to all of our gates at all the middle and elementary school campuses. So those have all been completed. We are just paying the bill in the current year. At Aliso, this is where you're going to see the portable classroom replacement for the TKK building. That current allocation is $7.4 million. That's all being funded with Measure U dollars. They have had a total of 16.6, including that project allocated with all other funds. We've spent just over $9 million, and then the 7.4 remaining is mostly the TKK building replacement, as well as the panic hardware and some cameras. Those all got concluded over the summer, so those will be paid in the current year. Catalino, in the red, has a total just under $23 million. We have spent $19.5 million, and they have $3.3 million. That does include the plumbing infrastructure we completed over the summer that will be paid into the current year, as well as the learning center. We have some costs towards that, but the majority will be in this current year. And then the panic hardware and the cameras. So we have about $3.3 million in the current year that will be spent for those projects. The learning center will probably spill into the next year also. And then that will conclude Catalino's projects under Measure U. Summerland. So Summerland had a bond allocation of $1.9 million. We used $5.8 million of other funds, and those are listed below. That's the sale of Toro Canyon and Whitney properties, and with $716,000 allocated from our capital facilities, for a total of $7.8 million available for projects. I will say that the original allocation from Fund 25 was $1.3 million. So overall, we did conclude Summerland with fewer funds needed out of the Capital Facilities Fund. We've paid $7.4 to date, and we still have about $374,000 outstanding. And that is going to be concluded once we officially close out the project, which happened over the summer. The Success Center, again, that's been completed for quite some time, $2.1 million. Main School, we are finishing up the roofing and painting project. The roof and the painting project is complete. However, we are now having to replace the parking lot. Unbeknownst to us, it was only about barely an inch of asphalt. So when all of the big trucks and the lift trucks came in, it just ate the parking lot up. That repair is included in the current obligations of 1.4. So that project's coming in just about $200,000 less than anticipated $2 million. So we're doing good there. And then that will be all that's allocated to Main School. Orville District Office, we'll be happy to get carpet. Again, there's nothing new there. So our future projects, we have $16.2 million. We have the Carpinteria Middle School multi-purpose room that's on the priority list, as well as the Carpinteria High School outdoor amphitheater. The original estimated cost, and this is from 2016 for the middle school, was $3.4 million. We know that's not going to be $3.4 million. I would guess that the escalation after 7 years is going to be probably at least 50%, if not 60 or more percent. And then the outdoor amphitheater has not even been estimated. Now, those projects, nothing has begun on the middle school modernization project. That will be, if the board chooses to move forward with that project, we probably won't begin planning until we've actually are in construction of both the Learning Center and the Aliso project. So we have, if we allocate that 3.4 original allocation, that leaves us 12.8 Measure U money available for future projects.
Okay.
That's it.
Any questions from the board? Does anybody have questions?
I don't have any questions. That was great, Maureen. But I think when the ladies and everybody raised the money for the swimming pool, Because we know they can raise money. They just built a fabulous skateboard park, and they can raise the money for those other things. Down the line.
Down the line.
Do you recall the scope for the NPR at the middle school?
It's pretty much the whole, modernizing that whole area and the band room.
Downstairs.
It was,
The downstairs.
It was the two kind of downstairs areas
Yeah.
and the stage
Yes.
primarily.
Yeah.
The playing surfaces were
No.
fine.
No, just the downstairs building.
Okay.
I did have a conversation with Robert Robles, our architect, about the feasibility of a pool at the high school, and anything's feasible, but we have to be cognizant of the fact that we have wet soil that could impact the cost as we have to dig deep for the pool. And again, I don't think anyone has really done a cost analysis, and if that's something the board's wanting to entertain, they can do that. You can take action on that tonight. And before I conclude, I'll just give, it's not a Measure U project, but I'll give a quick update on the tennis court. It is complete. We were donated $1.3 million, and we ended up completing the project with $1,315,000 and $315,000, so it's $15,000 over. That overage will be paid out of the deferred maintenance fund. It was for some improvements the county required.
Did we send a bill to Mr. Williams?
I wish.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Pretty.
Great. So, okay. So the remaining funds, we haven't done any planning or anything yet on any of those projects. It's been a long time since everything was originally thought of and discussed. And I'm just wondering what type of, you kind of mentioned that we could point things in a I don't want to say a different direction, but just we have the opportunity potentially to look at other things right now. And so I'm just wondering, like
I think it'd be good to update the estimate for the NPR, and then probably get an idea of the cost, at least a general idea of the outdoor amphitheater at the high school, because I've got some ideas there, and I think it'd be good to kind of at least know if it's even feasible, and then irregardless of whether the district pays for it, I think it'd be good for this foundation or whoever fundraising to know how much a pool would cost.
Right.
Don't you?
Yeah, that's something that, even city council members have brought up at the district council meeting, is the idea of would we be interested in creating a pool at the high school? And it was like kind of an answer that I couldn't give because I have no idea what that would look like or cost. And it's something that obviously the community has wanted for a long time. I know this has come up time and time again over the years. Okay, so I can
certainly work on updating the cost for the middle school multipurpose room. The amphitheater, that hasn't even gone into any kind of conceptual idea. So that's going to be a little more challenging unless we want to have, Diana, myself, and a board member to come up with some conceptual design that we can estimate on. And then, it's the board's authority to say, at least do a pool feasibility study, if that's what you would like to have done. And we would probably work with Robert Robles, and he would, he's built pools in San Mateo, where did that come from? Santa Barbara. And so he's, well aware of the cost of pools, but it's something that, we could contract with him. I could bring that to the board at another time to do.
Okay. Any further questions from the board right now? No? Okay. Public comment on G1 Measure U? Okay. Bring it back to the board for discussion. I think it'd be a great idea to take the opportunity, because we haven't had this in our time here yet, and we keep coming up with moments of why wasn't this, or why didn't this get listed, or why aren't we doing that? And so I definitely would like to get a new estimate for the NPR. I don't know what it would entail, but doing a feasibility study, or cost analysis, I don't know what the right term is, feasibility study?
Both. You would
Cost
do
and
both.
cost analysis for a pool at the high school, and I'm guessing, do we need to identify a location, or is that part of that process?
Part of that process.
Okay. And then, do you guys, what are your thoughts on the amphitheater?
Well, I'm happy to kind of help kind of with the conceptual
Okay.
of it. And then, at least we can come up with a rough sketch of what we're thinking about that then we could give to an architect or an estimator to come up with a,
Some number.
something.
Yeah. Okay.
rough.
So then it would be, so we'd have update.
I think you can do a feasibility study and a cost analysis for an amphitheater, and we can bring you information the same way for a pool.
Okay.
So you do. We'll go back to the architect.
Okay.
We'll say we're interested. We have these options. We're interested in an amphitheater and a pool, and what would it cost us for you to do a feasibility study and a cost analysis for these two projects, and then we'll bring back that information to you, and then you can make some decisions about the next steps to.
Because we don't have to
No.
do anything with this right now.
No.
Okay. And then,
Give Maureen direction.
wonderful. And then one other thing, when we had our board tours at the elementary schools last week, we noticed a lot of things like just same thing we noticed at Canalino was fascia boards and things like that, paint that wasn't done, which back when this started, it wasn't so much of an issue. It was fine. But now we're this far down the line. We have windowsills and ledges and things like that that are getting rot and paint. And I think I'd like to see us be able to address those issues. I don't know if this is the appropriate.
Well, we won't be able to address them with the Measure U money.
No, we can't. Okay, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
no.
asking. I wasn't sure about that. Okay.
But I think you are absolutely right, is that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And we will need to make some decisions about how we are going to address those items. But I think that conversation takes place when we've completed the Measure U projects that we agreed to originally.
Yeah. No, I understand that. I'm just
And
thinking over things.
To clarify also, the middle school modernization, we're going to update costs on that?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we ask for a feasibility study and cost analysis for the amphitheater and a pool at the high school.
And update the cost on the.
And update the cost on the NPR. Thank you. I almost lost that. And update the cost on the NPR at the middle school.
All right, I'll second that.
Yeah, okay. Any further discussion there? No? Okay. Oh, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
And I also think if we get those figures, that the community, we're well aware, support the schools. And I would think we would have great fundraising that would go on in order to
Yeah.
provide some of the monies for those
two projects we're talking about, the high
Right.
school, certainly.
Yeah, and it'd be very helpful to have the cost analysis. They need to know what they're looking at.
So they can ask for grants and things like that.
And
Well,
the feasibility.
and a concept, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, just
yeah.
I have another question, Maureen, on the reimbursement funding. Are we able to apply again for projects that?
No, so the eligibility we had for modernization, it only comes around every 25 years.
Holy moly! Okay,
And
got it.
for classroom replacement or the portable replacement, it's even longer.
Okay.
So we are,
Yeah, I have a question on the TK. So I know it's not totally mandatory yet, but it sounds like there's rumblings that it might become like a, the TK has always been optional to a certain degree.
It's required
It's
now.
mandated
It's
now.
Oh, it is
mandated that we
mandated now.
offer it.
Okay, so is there any talk in the state level of funding some sort of facilities bond or?
I think sorry, I don't know. I don't want to get off.
Well, you're on the right track. So yes, there is facilities funds for when you have to increase the classrooms. And we've had
We
two
have
TK
capacity.
classrooms for the last 9 years. So we're not in the position to benefit from increasing the classrooms.
Okay.
It's not for modernizing our classrooms.
I just don't want to get into budget when it's not on the agenda, that's all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of woven into Measure U, but I just want to, okay. 2, approval of the contract with DUDEC to support the coastal development permit issuance. The board is asked to approve the proposal from DUDEC to support the issuance of the coastal development permit for the Aliso TKK portable replacement project. Jonathan Leach from DUDEC will work with Robert Robles, architect, and consult with the City of Carpinteria city planning staff to identify fees and facilitate the payment from CUSD to the City of Carpinteria. City fees are not included in this proposal. The estimated cost of the proposal is $5,830 and will be paid with Measure U bond funds. Any questions from the board? Public comment on this item, please feel free to step up. Seeing none, may I get a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the contract with DUDEC and Associates to support the coastal development permit for Aliso TK.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Fabulous. Personnel, H1, personnel summary. The board is asked to approve the following recommended personnel items, assignments for personnel. Any questions from the board? Okay. Public comment on H1, personnel summary.
So the personnel summary confirms that a total of 2.65 new classified instructional assistants have been hired this month. Of the 4 employees that make up these 2.65 worth of full-time equivalents, none have been provided full-time hours. These part-time employees, though, are being hired at significantly higher hourly wages than the majority of long-time permanent instructional aides in the district. We shared last time, and we will again, that several employees are discussing with the Human Resource Department and ourselves either their pending resignation or reduction in hours, in large part due to the district's decision to hire new employees at inequitable wage levels when compared to senior workers. It is extremely unmotivating when a new employee receives a higher hourly rate, a new part-time employee receives a higher hourly rate than an employee who has provided consistent service to the district and our students for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years or more. And when these employees bring this inequitable condition to the attention of the Human Resource Director, they receive responses like, quote, due to the changing market affected by the pandemic, new hires are now typically hired at the starting range of steps 10 to 13, considerably higher than their own. Or, quote, we are unable to make adjustments in the rate of pay post-hiring as per your reference of in order to get a raise. Finally, CUSD's Human Resource Director, Ms. Zapata, has a habit of concluding her correspondence with this. If you have concerns regarding any of this information, I encourage you to speak with your union representatives. Well, they already have. And all the while, Human Resource Director Zapata is well aware of 2 significant details that you should be as well. The CUSD has the authority to raise employee wages within a given job classification wage range at its discretion. It does not need the union's permission. Number 2 is that union leadership has advocated for a more equitable resolution to the issue of providing new hires higher hourly rates than employees who have provided consistent high-quality service to the district for 5, 10, 15, or 20 years or more. Union leadership has built our advocacy into our advisories on the topic, into our collective bargaining proposals, into our public comments at school board meetings, and a variety of other forums. The HR director's responses are not only dismissive to the employees who recognize that both the professional insult and the economic inequity the district's position represents, your positions in response are equally insulting. Ms. Zapata's responses are both dishonest, though, and clearly designed to mislead district employees on who is and who is not responsible for the ongoing dysfunction. And once again, it appears you 5 are the only people in this district capable of doing anything about it. So we beg your attention again. Thank you. All the while having a hard time resolving coverage issues in the district.
Okay. Make it a,
I'll move to approve the personnel summary.
thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Board announcements. Anybody got anything? No?
Fun avocado festival.
Yeah, AvoFest was great. I loved seeing the cheerleaders out there cheering for their chips and guacamole and all of the FFA projects, the kids there, and the ASB dioramas, avocado dioramas. It was just, yeah, boosters. It was,
A little birdie told me they raised more, there's more money raised for scholarships and nonprofits than they've ever seen.
wow, that's awesome.
That's so, hopefully, I mean, it sounds like the end of this year is gonna be exciting for those CEF scholarships that are getting funded.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. We got homecoming coming up this weekend. Home game on Friday. Hopefully, we get a lot of people showing up for that game.
Yeah, with announcing our homecoming queen and
Yeah, we're announcing the homecoming court. They are announcing homecoming court for the high school. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. Oh, the Summerland ribbon cutting at 1:30 on Monday. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. It's kind of a slower week, which is kind of nice. It's been a little crazy, but yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to?
Well, I was going to say that despite negative comments to the contrary, I think this community is well aware that we have a really strong, really good school district. And we are producing some outstanding students on a yearly basis. I agree with you that at Avocado Festival, the booths that I was working in and many other booths are raising money for the schools in some fashion or other. That money's, just like you were saying, there was a lot of money raised for the clubs and the other things. I know one of the booths that I was in is raising funds for CTE, But I would also like to say that Carpentry Education Foundation is having their yearly fundraiser on October 21st, which I hope that many people would attend. And they do come, and they support the schools, and we raise a lot of money to give directly back to the schools. And I hope that everybody that's listening will attend and come support us. It's not only a great party, but as I say, last year we made over $100,000 that went directly back to the school system. So the community does support the schools, and I think most of the community is well aware we have a really outstanding school district.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the board calendar.
Hi, I would just like to remind the board that you will be having the school board tours this Friday for the secondary schools, starting the same as last Friday, starting at 8:30, and you are going to start at middle school.
Okay, thank you. Okay, future agenda items, the 23-24 staffing report, 23-24 SIPSA, single plan for school achievement, and the 23-24 district goals. Any questions on our future agenda items? No? Okay. And public comment on future agenda items.
Thank you. Being in such close proximity to National Hispanic Heritage Month, it would be great to hear the board. Again, we request a board-level discussion about its efforts, if they exist, to recruit and identify Hispanic leaders in the community to one day serve in district leadership positions, including senior administrative positions, the district superintendent position, and direct participation on the school board. Union leadership again encourages the board to consider and include in this discussion the possibility of remuneration for school board members, meaning compensation for school board members. Some questions that could be asked. Why did the CUSD School Board cancel compensation for CUSD school board members? Is this a practice that still best serves or does at all best serve the district and the community? Could there be a stipend, access to reduced health care package, or some form of remuneration to encourage board members to invest in the time required to better understand the work, the opportunities, and the challenges experienced in the teaching and learning environment? For example, to participate in school tours, just like Ms. Thomas mentioned, that take place in the middle of the work week, in the middle of the work day. How can we free people up to put in that kind of time, beyond volunteering that time and having the economic opportunity to do that? Could board member compensation raise our expectations associated with board member engagement and performance, while also serving to remove the economic barriers that currently prohibit more diverse participation on the school board? Just like educators and support staff need better compensation so that they may avoid the distractions that come with economic instability, union leadership believes that the school board trustees should also receive some form of transparent compensation to provide them the time and resources sacrificed when they perform the duties with diligence and competence. Although many in the community would be proud to apply their expertise to the matters of CUSD, not all have the same abundance of time and resources to provide at no cost to the community. There are many talented, intelligent, and large-hearted people in our community. Union leadership believes that many of these people could bring much-needed diversity to the CUSD school board and the district if they could displace the economic costs of participation. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, and with that, we are adjourned.
I was a stranger in the city. Out of town were the people I knew. I had that